a quick live presentation. I wasn't quite ready for a live. I was actually kind of getting ready to do some chores and some personal hygiene, but I'm going to take about 15 or 20 minutes and we're going to talk about events that have happened in the last hour. Well, Ernie Shell went on another of his walking expeditions, and I wasn't going to watch it, so I did other things, and I shot the video that I posted earlier, and after 3 hours of his walk, apparently the cops caught up with him, and there was an older that wanted him to stop and wasn't obeying commands, and then he hit Ernie with a taser. And then apparently, well, the thing is at that point, the cop was in the wrong after the first one. Because he was repeatedly tasing Ernie. Wrong. You're not supposed to do that. When you do that, you're abusing the suspect. Now, I didn't realize it until... Hello, Benny. Well, yeah, you always obey, you know. Well, you don't have to retract it, Benny, you know. We're free to openly talk here. I mean, you do obey them. You know, the cop was in the right when he tased him on the first one. Yeah, you know, I took law enforcement 1 and 2 in college because I grew up in Ohio, and to be an armed guard there, you had to take that in order to be able to carry a gun on post. And, yeah, I mean, if I was that cop, I would have tased him too at that point. But the thing is a part of that course, we had to get tased. And you kind of got to give a count like a 7 or an 8, and then give them a command, because for that first several seconds, the neurons themselves are just not going to work. So, you know, the cop, once again, was justified in the first one. You know, they taught me thumb lock, you know. You know, if I want to grapple you and you're not obeying, you know, after I tase you once, you know, I'm just grabbing a hold of you by that thumb and, you know, bending, and then grabbing the wrist and bending it back for a cuff. And, you know, they snap it on real freaking quick, too. I mean, you can do that in one fluid motion. But it was an older cop, and evidently he was one of them that was an attitude. And we have a lot of them around here. And I didn't realize it until just the other day. But, you know, Ernie and I are kind of local to each other. And I have seen Ernie in real life. I didn't realize it at first because his stature is so much smaller than me. You know how Han Solo cut open the Tauntaun and put Luke Skywalker in? You could cut me open and fit Ernie's shell inside of me. That's why I didn't realize it at first. But yeah, you know, over the years, I've run into Ernie here and there, you know, at different stores and here and there, you know, just another guy. But his stature is so much smaller that, I mean, that cop, I mean, it would have been no problem for that cop to have just physically handled him. But yeah, Benny, you know, once again, Ernie was, now personally, Benny, I think this is what Ernie was wanting. Because, you know, he's got this idea of YouTube fame. Now, he could have did a whole lot more to get subscribers. You know, my other channel was like 3,000 and some subscribers. And that was because I lived near Amberlin Reed, and I had about 2,000 subscribers that was interested in fat chick content that I don't want to do no more. So I get that channel back, I'm just going to hide it and then edit it and bring it back at some point. So, you know, I'm happy on my little channel, but Ernie's new to this and he wants fame, and that's not what YouTube's all about. You know, you can make some money on YouTube and people can do it all fair-like, but I think that Ernie in the last couple days has been trying to have some sort of a altercation with the police for YouTube fame, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, He did suffer police brutality after the point of the first shock. Now, once again, I know from going through the training that I did, we got tased. That was a part of our training because they wanted us to know what we were doing to someone else. So in that situation, we had control. So in order to understand it, we had to go through. We all got tased. And, I knew then that, if I'm going to tase someone, I'm going to count to 7 and then give them a command. Because if I don't do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that person's nervous system, it might not be rebooted enough to obey my command. Again, after I tase them, and having been tased, I know I got that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that I can get my cuffs out and get your arm behind. No problem. And that cop was an older cop, and he was just an ass. He didn't like having to walk out there for him. Oh, you don't have to retract anything here. We talk all open. I'll even talk about my own dumbassery when it happens and laugh about it. It's rare, fortunately, but, I don't preclude that dumbassery can't happen. But I don't go out and disobey the police. And, I get an OR bond because I always obey the cops, and I always keep my court dates. And I'm always not argumentative with them. Well, you don't give this kind. This is to stop your neurons. And also that science was debunked a long time ago. They used to do that kind of shit when I was a child and basically lobotomized people and burned out parts of their mind. Now, he's burning out his own mind, and I'm not sure which drug that it's doing, but in reality, where I live, you can't get a pizza. But if I go over that phone with service, I could have any drug that I wanted dropped off here if for some reason that I wanted it. But that is our region, and and there's been accusations of heroin, and though meth more is the delusional drug, tends to be, and Ernie did walk 3 hours, but because of COVID, all the things that were around aren't around as well as they were. So, I question what he was on, so I don't know. Like I say, I question it. But he was definitely on something. And he's been highly agitated. And now, our lolcows have been going off the rails, but, the full moon has been recent. So, if I was Ernie, I would just put it down to lunacy. But in my personal opinion, once again, this is pure opinion, and I don't have anything other than circumstantial fact to back it up, is I believe that Ernie has been trying to get this to make a viral moment. And I learned a long time ago, when YouTube is kind of calm, just enjoy it. Because it's not going to last long. Don't worry that there's nothing to talk about. It's just like, enjoy your peace. Make a dinner and show on your channel for a change. Do something different. The apocalypse is always around the corner. Well, that's it. He enjoys attention. Well, I particularly don't. I enjoy having a good time. I enjoy hanging out. I enjoy hearing what other people's real opinions are. A true opinion, I will never begrudge anyone. I just ask how you reached that opinion, and all of my opinions, if anyone ever wants to ask me, how do you reach that conclusion, I will walk step by step. Because if I can't lay out an opinion and explain on why I feel and think this, well, then I really need to sit down and think about what I'm talking about. Now, once again, as you said, Ernie wants attention. Well, Ernie's going to get it, and I mean, I think he got more than he intended, honestly. I really do. I think, about after tase 2 or 3, and now you see the thing is after he tased him on multiple times, you are going to trigger a feral response. A fight or flight. Which in this case with law enforcement was just going to get him into more trouble. Now, that cop was an older cop, but he was much physically larger than Ernie. He didn't have to tase him more than once. I mean, that's what they have those batons for. I mean, you don't have to hit someone hard. You don't have to leave a mark. But if you tap somebody here hard on the temple, or just firm, you got their attention. And I don't encourage you to do it, but if you just keep tapping harder, you will realize it does not take very much of a smack on that temple to make you see stars. And in real life, if I was having, like say if I'm sitting at a table and there was eating and a man starts assaulting a woman at the next table, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap him, right across here with a backhand across the temple real good, and then I'm going to get him in that wrist lock that we talked about earlier, and then get him on the ground, put one foot behind his knee, kick him to the ground, lever him over, get on top of him, and tell someone to call 911, and then I sit on top of them until they get there. But, that's what I would do, but, once again, I'm trained for security. Now that cop, once again, many of these southern cops, they don't have training. In reality, from me just having guard training and taking law enforcement 1 and 2 in Ohio so I could carry a weapon, I've got more training than most of your local cops around here. Now, now Kentucky State Police, they are very, very well trained. I want to give credit where credit's due. That is an extremely well-trained force. But, most of these local smaller county cops, I have far more training than them, and I would consider the training I have inadequate. But they sure don't. And, and that guy, once again, he was making that older cop walk. And they don't like that. I learned that living in Cincinnati. They don't like exertion. They don't like paperwork either. So if you can give them a good story that will get them out of it all, hello, Jennifer. We're only going to be here for a little bit because we had breaking news. Ernie Shell got tasered all up. I was getting ahead of myself in words. But yes, he's got tasered all up, and now he's lawed all up, and the police did get out of line at some point. Though I didn't get to see the visuals of it all, I did get to hear it. And I heard he took at least 3 taser shots. At least. And everything past the first one was unjustified legally, in my personal opinion as a jurist. So, Ernie, I believe, wanted this, and you know what they say? Be careful what you wish for, you may get it. Like I say, this is breaking news, so I wanted to get this out here real quick, because we may actually talk about it later, and I have chores to do, and myself to clean up, and like I say, I've got a busy day ahead of me, so this evening we may reconvene, and this is getting near 15 minutes, so I'm probably going to cut it here in just a second. And I will get this off unprivate, and it will be right back up in a moment for those that want to go back and see it from the beginning. But yes, to recap, Ernie took at least 3 shots from the taser because he would not obey the large older policeman. And as I said, the first one, in my opinion, was legally justified, and I believe that it was excessive force, the rest of it. So, we will see what happens, and a lot of people's going to have something about Ernie's shell, and I'm already coming up with a Grimgoth bit. Yes. And I hope you enjoy it, but I'm going to hell. I'm thinking of the jokes. Yes, I'm going to hell. I just want to throw that out there. Well, actually, Robin, it was at the point that he tasered him first, because he tasered him 3 times and really didn't give him time to comply. So, but once again, this is a subjective opinion from a jurist, and when we talk about this later, we can discuss such, but in the instigation of what made it bad, Ernie's non-compliance started it. Now, once again, this older officer was the only one, in my opinion, from the evidence that I could divine, was the one that was initiating excessive force. And he wasn't taking Ernie's shit. And he wasn't even giving him a 1, 2, 3. So yeah, everyone, put your comments below, and I may see you in some other chats later, and I'm going to charge up the devices, and we'll see what we can find out about Ernie in the meantime. Now everybody, have a very good day, and I hope to see you tonight.